If we can say and table that emotion, if we can accept it for what it is and say, man, I'm really feeling anxious about the next week of my business growth, and realize that's a real emotion. That's something you're really feeling. But let's look at the numbers. Let's use an equation that actually will produce sales. I'm Jordan Alvarez and I own The Marked Company. I help service-based entrepreneurs turn their one-on-one methods into a digital course that creates passive income in part-time hours. There's a place for emotion in business, but too many variables have the potential to sway our emotions. Fear, jealousy of someone else's success, circumstances we can't control. There's just too many things that are out of our control that dictate what emotion comes up in us. If we can say and table that emotion, if we can accept it for what it is and say, man, I'm really feeling anxious about the next week of my business growth or the next year of my business growth. I'm really feeling anxious about finding those next 5 customers, and realize that's a real emotion. That's something you're really feeling. But let's look at the numbers. Let's use an equation that actually will produce sales, because emotion is not going to drive the growth of your business. And if it does, it's only going to be for a short spurt, a short amount of time, because if you're growing now on an emotion, even if it's a positive one, you're going to eventually grow or decline based on an emotion, and it potentially could be a negative one. Numbers, though, that's how you change your business game. I'm not just going to leave you there either. You're probably thinking, okay, I want a higher rate of purchase than 5%. Or, man, my purchase rate is like 0.0000001, like non-existent. Or maybe you're just thinking like, how do I get more people in my funnel? I feel tapped out. I feel like my warm market is tapped. And I have answers for all of those questions. First, in the event you want to increase the percentage of purchase, one of 2 things needs to happen, or maybe both things need to happen, but they need to happen one at a time. Don't do both of these things at the exact same time. Number 1, you need to optimize one or many elements of your funnel, your sales sequence. So from the marketing strategy you're using to move people into the lead magnet, you're using to lead people into the email sequence, you're using to call them to action, whether that's a purchase or a follow or a strategy call, whatever it is. That needs to be optimized. There are tweaks that need to be made. But when we make tweaks, don't make all the tweaks at one time. Make one tweak at a time. So maybe it's copy in the email sequences. Maybe your emails are where you're seeing the break and you're seeing people drop off. They're not opening, they're not clicking through. They were really engaged up here in the front of this funnel, but now they're just kind of like, bleh. Make some tweaks to your copy. Maybe add some graphics, maybe do some things, change up the subject lines, make some tweaks there. If you see, okay, there's a little bit of improvement, that percentage is increasing, but you want it even higher. Let's move to creative. Maybe you need to change some things in your marketing strategy. If you see people aren't coming into your funnel, they're not opting in, you need to change maybe your images you're using. You need to use some different ways to communicate. Maybe that's humor, maybe that's teaching, maybe that's knowledge or information. So change those creative elements. Use video, try out reels, just different things. Maybe even posting here to YouTube. Maybe that's a thing that you need to add to your marketing strategy. How do your customers best relate to your material? How do they receive it best? And you can find out exactly who you serve. I have a 3-day, or it's a 3-part. You can go through it immediately or you can do it one day at a time. Workshop for free in the link that I'm going to share in the description. So grab that if you want it. If you need help deciding who you serve with the products that you deliver, take that workshop. So depending on the results you're getting, the numbers you're getting from those tweaks, you know whether you need to optimize more or less based on what you're hearing and the feedback you're getting. And no feedback is feedback. Maybe your freebie isn't the pain point that your audience wants answered, isn't the easy win that you thought it would be for your audience. Go back to the drawing board and ask those questions of your customers. So if that percentage is increasing, awesome. Keep those things and keep optimizing until you get to a percentage. Maybe it's 40%, maybe it's 15%, until you get to a percentage that is realistically comfortable for sustainable growth. So can you show up and deliver this percentage over and over and over based on your marketing strategy that you're using to get people into that funnel? Next question, what if your percentage is crazy low? You have a lot of data, but people are just not biting at that last call to action at the end of the email funnel. The most likely answer is that you don't or haven't seen enough people into your funnel yet for those numbers to really be honest and reliable. We only have a handful of people coming into our funnel. First piece of advice, keep adding people to the funnel. If people aren't coming in, if people aren't opting into that freebie, if people aren't interested in what you have to offer for free, go back up to the last question I answered. You need to optimize. You either need to change the freebie, change the creative, the copy, or something on the landing page, maybe your marketing strategy, something in the way you're delivering that information needs to change. Now, if people aren't responding well, and I don't mean you haven't talked about it in weeks and you're sitting back not having posted about it, not having shared blogs, not having posted a YouTube video, not having created articles or resources, and you're sitting back saying, nobody wants what I have. Just nobody wants to come in and nobody wants to purchase or opt into this freebie. I've created this incredible piece of content and nobody wants it. Well, that's an emotional decision. So that's back to what we were talking about before. You're using emotion to drive your business rather than data. Data is you haven't shown up to your marketing strategy. You're not showing up and telling people about it. You're not talking about what you have to offer. And the emotion is that no work equals no result. It's very rare, if ever, that someone can just have something available that they never talk about and people just know about. Doesn't happen, like, ever. But if you're sharing, if you're building relationships, if you're serving your people with an incredible marketing strategy, then it's likely that your freebie or the way you have people coming into your list just isn't resonating. And that's okay too. We need to go back to who we serve. What obstacles do they face? What issues are they having? What do they wish was different or easier? That's your job to figure that out. Your job to give them that easy win in that entrance point of your funnel. And finally, maybe you're asking, how do I increase the number of people in my funnel? That's super easy because we live in a very connected world. There are a lot of ways to be seen and to build relationships. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok. Those are just some of the most popular social media platforms. But then you have your own blogs, maybe sharing the mic with a podcast host, being interviewed, hosting conferences, or other speaking engagements that you've been invited to. All of those are incredible ways to put people into your funnel. And this is how it works. Hey, you told me you struggled with X, Y, and Z. I actually have a document. I actually have a guide. I actually have a video. I actually have a training about how to X, Y, and Z that I think you would really enjoy and appreciate. You can grab it at the URL. It's that simple. Invite people to be a part of your ecosystem. And when you do, you're going to see that you have reliable metrics for driving sales. Hey, I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you next week.